Hello, everybody.
Listen, I know that y'all are never ready. Nobody is ever ready when I put the screen on for the music. They're always just like, "Oh."
So epic. I love it.
Like I think Robert and James both got stunned by it. I think everybody that I put on, they're like, "Whoa, I wasn't expecting." I'm like, "I'm sorry." Woo.
Whoa. Well, you know what? It hit me by surprise, but in a very fun way because I love the galactic drama it brought. So I'm there. I'm there with you, friend.
Well, before we get started, the one thing I want to make sure that I take care of, I always like to take care of business, which is first and foremost, a thank you to the mods. I appreciate each and every one of you making sure that you knock those trolls out. I want to thank my patrons and my channel members so much for everything that you do to keep this nightmare moving. And I want to thank all of you in the live stream and all of you watching on the replay. Thank you. So, for this episode of Fresh Face Sesh, we do have the gorgeous and the lovely Alicia of Kinky Sweat. If y'all don't know, you should. Their information below in the description box for you to what? Subscribe if you have not yet already. I'm like, I have a rhythm.
That yes intro.
Yeah.
That was beautiful.
You have to start like pushing it really, because if you don't, you'll forget all of the things. If I don't say it in like a radio voice, hi T.
Oh,
if I don't say it in a radio voice, I'm like, I'm so sorry, I don't know what I was supposed to do with that, so I apologize. So
I love
Alicia, you specialize in the world of luxury makeup, and I want to say that many purchases have been made because of you, and I tend to only listen to you now when I am taking a shower and I can't quite see what you are doing, so that you cannot siren song me with buying makeup that I should not be buying.
I love that strategy, Audra. You're good. You know what to do.
I just put it on and like, oh, Alicia's talking about her favorites. Time to take a shower. And I just turned it on and I can like hear you talking. But since I can't see it, I'm like, I can't see how good it looks. So like, I won't be tempted.
Oblivious. Oblivious.
So how did you, like, I'm just curious though, how did you get like into like luxury makeup, or have you always been into it?
I think I consider myself maybe transitory luxe because I haven't fully dived in. There are a ton of luxury products that I can't buy because of the high perfume content, which is typical. Chanel and Dior, as beautiful as those products are, a lot of their complexion products, I just cannot wear. Hi, Feffy.
And Guerlain? Is it Guerlain?
It is.
Yeah, that's perfumed.
You know,
the highest possible level.
And that for me is a great excuse as well. Can't wear it, is gonna break me out or give me a headache. But there are some luxe brands like the Shiseido I mentioned, the Suku. Okay, so yeah. I definitely pick what I can, and I try not to go crazy because I have so much stuff. I'm looking at it. It's like crowding in on me. And I feel bad that I can't wear it all at once. So I'm very careful now.
It's like, you said that, and I'm looking, and there's just like makeup spilling over everywhere on me right now. And I'm like,
okay, it's a problem, you know? So that's why, but the thing that really compels me about luxury makeup is the behind the scenes, and how there are some brands that really just put a lot of work into their formulations. And that's I like the makeup nerdistry, if you will. There are some things worth looking into, and especially when someone is looking to buy an item from the luxury space, I want to give them as much information as possible in terms of my experience, because if you're about to drop this amount of money on a foundation,
yes,
you want to make sure you want to use it. Or if you want to use it sparingly, when you do use it, it's like the best part of your day.
Yeah. I mean, that's a big thing for me too, because I held off on getting the pat and I held off on getting the Giorgio Armani. And both of those are like two of my favorite foundations. I just love how they feel on my skin. And the Marc Jacobs as well, the Remarkable. I hate how you spell his name and everything, but but those are amazing for me because they feel like my skin.
Yes.
So even with Tina's here.
Tina!
I was just thinking about you. I feel like I conjured you here. But I like those because they do. I know that they're bougie ass foundations. I get it. But like they are 3 foundations that when I put them on, if I lay down to take a nap or whatever, and I just forget that I even have it on. So I don't think about things like my pillow, which they don't actually have a lot of transfer, but I don't really think about that kind of stuff. And while there's other foundations that I definitely love that are lower price points, I'm going to say that those 3 tend to feel most like it's just my skin. So like I'm living my best life at every turn.
You know what I mean? And there's some products, again, you know, Pat McGrath is just legendary in all the work that she has done and she still does. I mean, being a dom, like, you know, that was such a great, is it Dame or Dom? I can't pronounce it. I'm stupid.
Are you saying like Dame Pat McGrath?
Yes.
Because when you said Dom, I thought about a different world. So I was like,
I was subconsciously trying to drop it on a British accent. Dom, Pat McGrath.
Because like I was like, Pat is a Dom? I mean, that makes sense. She is boss. But so
there it is. Isabel got it. Because of that, you know, her experience with skin tones and foundations and how her mom couldn't find a foundation when she was looking to match her skin tone. When Pat was going to release this line, she was going to make sure she was going to nail it.
Yeah.
And, you know, and in terms of the texture, and I get it, like her perspective is heavy runway. The skin types we can only assume that she deals with is just flawless. But you know, models have their days too. I feel like not everyone who rolls through the makeup room is going to have flawless skin because that's life. Yeah. And I'm sure she still had to take that into consideration. So she still wanted to make a product that was going to be good for those with great skin like Audra. Okay.
Hey. I was struggling for a little bit and I had to get back on my hydration game. I've just filmed and I was like asking, I think I asked in that video and I was like, listen, let me know if you want to know, like, want me to put you on what I'm doing for the winter skin because the name of the game is hydration.
Friend, you're giving me dew, okay? Just
I like
dew.
It's that what is that called? The watermelon pink juice. Ugh.
Really? The newest addition to the Glow recipe line.
Yes, that pink juice is like when I like that and all the snail stuff. I have so much snail goo on my face on a regular basis. I don't even care. It's just like snail goo, just like rubbing it on. And
the mucin.
Yeah, because I think one of the things that I had to really start, because somewhere a long time ago, I made a video talking about like oily skin myths busted. And one of the biggest ones I had to bust was like, hey, stop drying out your skin. Like, please stop doing that. You're making your skin more oily. The more that I like hydrated my skin, the less oily I was. And then that's when I was able to wear like beautiful dewy foundations and not look like an oil bucket, like fried chicken. You know how when you get noodles from from an Asian Chinese restaurant or whatever, and at the bottom there's like that grease?
Yeah. Yeah. Huh?
That's what you look like when you don't take care of when you don't hydrate your skin enough and you have oily skin and then you put dewy foundation on, you're like, I'm the noodle oil. So I'm like, I'm noodle oil.
No. So shiny. So shiny.
Yeah, everybody's over here talking about the snails.
The goo.
Snail goo. So wait, what do you do like when you're not stretching your body into impossible positions, which BT Debs, y'all didn't know, but behind the scenes, I cursed Alicia because I was like, I thought you were like 28 anyway. And then Alicia was like, I wish my body was 28. And then I was like, girl, fuck you. I was upset because I see you on Instagram being like flicking and like flinging your body into like a U shape. And I'm like, my body goes like into a fetal position really well. I've been doing that pretty good. Like fetal has been good.
Final flexion. Go at it.
How long have you been doing all of this flexible, like sexy?
Sexy flexy?
Yes.
I think it might have been 27 or 28 years of age that I rolled into Body and Pole in New York City for the first time. And this was me in a headspace of, I want to try the circus stuff. I see people doing it. Where can I do this? The aerial apparatus that intrigued me the most was the aerial silks.
Yeah.
Just getting so Joey. And I found this space and I was like, oh, wow, they have classes. And once I took that class, Audra, it was a wrap. I mean, when you are a student at Body and Pole or just in the circus arts in general, you want to do fabric, you want to do aerial, you want to do hand balancing, contortion, and pole. You want to do everything. So I just dove heavy in because being a dance major, I struggled with flexibility as you were expected to just be flexible as a dancer. There was no specialized training. You take yoga or Pilates. That was the only thing you're recommended to take.
Yeah.
Because too much is going to, bulk you up and make you tight. And I'm like, okay, that's fine, but I need to figure out how to get my split because none of that is helping. And I wish if I knew what I did now, if I had the contortion coaches I worked with before, I would have gained my flexibility much faster. So when I encountered that at Body and Pole, my mind just blew. And it was soon the introduction of me attending workshops, of me taking like a handstand retreat in Hawaii and doing all these things and going to Circus Warehouse. But it was tough. Like, aerial is tough because you need the space for it and you have to go to, deep into Brooklyn if you wanted to really go high on the ceiling to practice your drops. You had to warm up. Okay. You had to rig.
Your girl's afraid of heights.
So, and that's the thing. Like a lot of the students who went into more professional work, sometimes you're still scared, but you just have to take it, or you just have to sit up way high and condition yourself to not be afraid. But there are some people I'll never forget. Elena, she was terrified of doing handstands, but she was fine 60 feet in the air.
Yeah, see, there's a lot. I will do some wild shit. Listen. I used to rollerblade back in the day, and I was actually fairly good. Like I could do like some little rails here and there, and not like big, tall rails, but little rails here and there, and jump and do all this kind of stuff, like go backwards and flip. I was always really adventurous. Like I'm more of an action sports person. I can ride a motorcycle. I love riding roller coasters. Don't get me wrong. However, I cannot keep excuse me, burps. I have to close my eyes the entire way up, and I cannot have my eyes open as we start going down. Like it just, because my stomach drops out of my booty hole and I can't.
that is an escape. Yes.
Yes. It just kind of goes like, that's the feeling that it just goes, and I'm like, oh, my booty. Like all of my fear feelings are in my booty. And I don't know if I'm the only one who has like fear in the booty, but like, that's where it goes. That's where my tail was. And I think that.
Or escaped. Yes.
Yeah. I see other people who are like, I'm afraid of heights. I really did do some daredevil action. I have wrecked my motorcycle. Like when I had my motorcycle, the first bike I had, I wrecked it. We rebuilt it. I wrecked it at like 45 miles an hour. I got a puncture in my lung. I had a hole in my knee to the bone. It was pretty rough. Like that's why I have like, is it this arm or this time? I have this cheetah scar right here. That's from like road rash. And then like this one, just it's always going to be there. Nobody can see it anymore, but I can. I'm like, it's always here. But like, don't tell me to climb a ladder for too high. I'm like, I'm sorry, what? And so you're going to survive the zombie apocalypse and I'm going down. Unless like, well, it just depends. If I can ride a motorcycle that I have put and maybe you could be on the back and you can have the bat with the spikes. And since you're flexible, you'll be like, wah, 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 and I'll like ride. So like we got that going.
Absolutely. Collaborative effort all the way to take down the zombies is how you got to do it. Okay. It's all about sticking together and knowing your strengths and making it happen.
Yeah. I mean, I just, I don't know. I get up there and like, the second I start getting, the thing is I can climb if it's a controlled climb where I know, or I'm not even thinking about it, right? I just climb up and I'm doing things, then it's fine. But the second it's like we're doing a thing and I'm going to be up high, I'm like, I don't know about this. I am, my stomach is not doing so well. You know, I'm shaking. I'm really shaking. Can we let me down? So
it's understandable. I think thrill thresholds are nuanced and we ride on different spectrums, right? I technically am scared of heights too. I have dreams where I feel terrified of situations I put myself in. You know, whatever happens in here, I'm like at the edge and you see the city down below. It's like, what are you gonna do? But like, Alicia, this is your brain. Just make yourself fly. But like terror sets in and that doesn't happen, of course. But I was okay with the aerial stuff.
The thing is, I figured this out. If you look out and not down, you're okay. Because I worked in a really tall building in Dallas before. I was like the 20th floor or some junk. You have to look out and like not down. Because if I looked out, I was fine. The second I looked down, I got vertigo. And I was like, I don't feel good.
Right.
I hate how city buildings are just like, let's have all the windows be like wide open glass. And I'm like, can we not have that? It's not, I almost died. Like, but, so then I do have to ask you this. Cause like, I feel like I don't want to put you on the spot. So you don't have to answer the question. I'm going to say this. I feel like since I have been on YouTube and actually started like reaching out to other creators of color and other Black creators, there's literally 4, I feel like 5 altogether who acknowledge that I exist. And I wanted to ask you if you think that, because I know the algorithm shit, right? But also I do have a sensation that there are Black creators who don't do enough to help other Black creators. But you don't have to answer, but do you think that? And if you don't want to answer, you can say, I don't want to answer.
I do think that because I do think, unfortunately, not in this sector, but in other spaces, we find that Black people don't help each other. And that's based on my experience. And that's based on what my dad went through when we lived in the Bronx. And I know this is not for everyone in terms of maybe not everyone experienced this, but he's a musician. And he really wanted to learn more about the music business. And this gentleman who lived in our neighborhood was the producer for Keith Sweat. And my dad was just like, hey, he just asked questions and he never wanted to help. Like he was always very like, and I get it. Like, I'm not saying my dad was expecting him to give all this information for free. Like, I don't even know what my dad asked, right?
Yeah.
But knowing how he is and who he is, he's never wanted to take advantage of anyone. Yeah. So I'm sure he just wanted a little bit of guidance, but he didn't get it from him. So yeah, he got it from his friend Rocky, who is white, showed him everything, showed him all the ropes, stayed at his house. I mean, they were friends for a very long time. They had a falling out, but to him, he was like, even my own people didn't want to help me.
Yes, because like,
and I don't know, because that's just a mentality. Is like, once you get up, you got to stay there, and I don't know what it is. And also I know friends in the makeup space where it's every person for their own.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's very much, and this is my interpretation. Remember, y'all, Black people are not a monolith, but my interpretation is it is still a form of white supremacy internalized in Black people, that there's only space for one Black person at the top, right? So I feel like a lot of larger Black creators have that mentality, and they'll be talking the talk all day about like support Black creators, but they don't support Black creators. And I feel like because of, like, I found you through T, just like I found Kelsey through T as well. And T got on my ass about not saying anything about my channel, but I was like, no, I'm not going to say anything, because I just started to realize, I was like, you know what? You say something and other Black creators just act like you don't exist. They just pretend like you're not part of the crew or whatever. And they're only going to talk to me. Like, I have a strong suspicion that if I suddenly had 250,000 subscribers tomorrow, there are Black creators who don't talk to me now that would have something to say then, who would be like, oh, hey, sis, and like, da da da. And like, they would be responding back and forth to me on Twitter, and they would be like liking my stuff on Instagram, where currently they just pretend like I am a non-entity. And the fact that T did that and was like, girl, and like the thing was, T had every she like totally could have just sent me a message or any like a million and one other things, but called me out in her comment section. So like there was nowhere for me to run or hide.
You're like,
and that's like kind of what woke me up. I was like, wait, there are Black creators who care that you're a Black creator and try to help you out. I'm so confused because I have not experienced that. And it's sad that like people will talk shit and be like, well, Black creators have to rely on white creators for the algorithm. And I'm like, well, not exactly, because there are plenty of Black creators who are making it, but you're just not, you're not reaching hands down.
Right. And unfortunately, I think that mentality is not fully realized in a lot of us. Like you said, is deeply rooted subconsciously. We might not know where it comes from, but our actions clearly demonstrate that we're still mentally going through it, in terms of, as you said, white supremacy, just this oppressed state of mind where when you make it, there's only room for you and you have to keep going, and that's it. And that's not necessarily the case, but the YouTube space is weird. It is. this kind of sense of like this popularity contest, and just I'm a YouTuber. It's like, that's great. You review makeup and a lot of people like you, and I'm in the same boat too. Like, we love our fam, right? But this is not what I do full time. Like, I don't rely on this to create me. Like, I don't rely on this to present myself as some like goddess of YouTube. And I think I think a lot of people rely on the popularity and the engagement to influence or just give them purpose. I don't think they have purpose.
Because I just feel like, I'm going to say it. There's a lot of creators who don't have any personality, and I don't know what to say to them. And so I don't know what to say. I'm like, you don't have any personality, because I feel like there's a point where you realize they're getting upset that they're plateauing, and it's like, well, you're just not that interesting. And I'm not saying that to be mean to you. You're just not like, you're not interesting. That's okay. Not everybody can be the same. Like, I'm weird. I'm aware that I'm a strange individual, and that's fine with me. When I finally started just being like, I'm going to be strange, because I am strange, instead of trying to be like
you.
Yeah. Like, to other people, I would be considered a little wackadoodle, if you will. And so, but when I stopped trying to pretend that I was like your everyday average like beauty YouTuber, it was like, hello, here is my structured video, and like I do this thing, and like da 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 da, and ba 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 ba, and you should buy this now. Like, as soon as I stopped doing that, being like, I don't like this, it sucks, and it smells like cheese. Like, as soon as I just started being myself, It was so much easier. And yes, it should be normal. Like that's the thing, is it should be normal. And Emily and I talk about this all the time about having YouTube friends and why it's so important, because nobody else knows what the hell you're talking about. Like nobody knows. Like if I have a question about sponsorships or how I should price something or talking about analytics, only other YouTube people are going to know what I'm talking about.
Exactly.
So I don't understand why you wouldn't reach out to people. Like I'm so thankful that I have the LGG fam, because I run into them all over, and it's because of the subscribers that I have that I started getting PR, and I started, really blowing up, and brands started looking at me, like blowing up for me, but like blowing up, but because they were out there saying my name.
Right.
And I find it very sad that there are just so many creators who could be doing the same thing that other white creators are doing. Because if you look at white creators will back each other. White creators shout each other out all day long and like yell each other's names from the rooftops and, at each other all the time. And when you look at a lot of Black creators, it's like radio silence, not just to their subscribers, but like also to other Black creators. And that's just kind of like it's a weird sensation for me to keep watching, because I'm just like, but y'all will talk all day long about how the algorithm is messy and how like white creators are interesting, and yet here you are not saying anything.
Like, I'm sure a lot of what y'all are saying is from something you saw from another Black creator. And like that's why I love to watch other channels, because it gives me an opportunity, an organic one, to say, hey, like I saw Audra do this, so and why not give someone else a different perspective, a different resource, someone different to see?
Yes.
Like that's what it's about. And it's not about having, you can have your favorites. I know people got their favorites.
Yes.
Okay. But this is something I experienced in the fitness industry where people will take my class and they're like, I love yours better than whatever. I'm like, you could like mine and you don't have to bring that other person down.
Thank you.
You could just say you like my class and have a good day. Okay. Like,
yeah.
X, Y, and Z have their own way of teaching, and you could keep that to yourself. You could be like, you know what? I'm just going to take Alicia on Saturday. That's it.
Yeah.
But but you could also have other favorites. Like, you don't have to put us on different pedestals. I feel like we have different aspects in our personality. You see different people for different reasons. Like, it's fine. And that's why
you have low-key strange. Like you have a very low-key strange, which I greatly enjoy. I hope that doesn't offend you, but you're like low-key strange where you're like, see? Where you like pull people in close, you're like, that's fine. Like, oh my God.
That's fine. Can I just say, I do have a little bit of a fantasy streak. Like I used to be heavy into anime. I still kind of am. I could get nerdy about the Marvel universe and the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
That's it.
Listen, I'm a gamer. I'm on Twitch now. When I'm not filming for YouTube, doing lives on YouTube or editing, I am legitimately sitting on Twitch playing video games, cursing things out. Like I get
gamer. The gaming genre that I was super into was the fight genre.
Oh yeah.
So I really wish I was better at Soul Calibur, but I just wasn't.
Listen, first of all, I say this all the time on my, like now I've been saying this on my Twitch where I'm like, okay, don't stress about being a super good gamer, because I'm a casual gamer. I like to relax. I like to have fun. And that's the thing about Twitch is it's super relaxed as opposed to the YouTube space where you're very like, be careful about what I'm saying because then I'm going to get called the fuck out. Like, and I'm like, I don't want that. So, but I realized like how much of a nerd I was like I forgot how nerdy I was until I started playing it, because one of my subscribers very generously sent me the PS4 that their son no longer needed because they got their son a PS5. So I have been playing the ever loving shit out of my PS4.
Oh
Wait.
my gosh. Okay,
Wait.
So this is really weird, but first of all, congratulations on your PS4.
Thank you.
There's a PS5, right?
Yes, there's a PS5.
That's like
that's the newest, bestest one right
super
now.
deluxe.
I never get it when it first comes out. I like, first of all, I didn't have money, but second, I usually wait a year or two into it so that I can next gen a couple. like
That makes sense.
Usually they kind of within 1 year or 2 years, there's like usually 1 to 2 different generations of it. By that point in time, they've like fixed bugs. They've usually also added more memory for you to store shit. So like, I'm about that life. And I'm like, yes.
Listen, I remember when the first PlayStation came out and Tomb Raider was like all the rage.
I play games similar to that now.
Really?
I've been playing, I think probably when we're done doing this, I might hop over and play Drake's Fortune Part 4, like the actual Drake's Fortune, because I've been playing like the 5th one. And I get so excited when I'm gaming, and I can do it with these nails, y'all. So it's just
clickety clack.
I'm like click, clack, clack, clack. But like I'm just playing like. But I just really love having like my nerd life. And I think that when it comes to, you know, monetizing your hobbies, I guess,
right.
I don't just do things because like, oh, I get money, right? Like I like YouTube. It's definitely helpful that I get the cash because, you know, I'm able to buy more products that I'm overflowing in. But
drowning in, yes.
Looking around like I've made mistakes. But I feel like we get kind of caught up in, I feel like this will connect in a second, but we get caught up in being the best at something, that you have to be the best in order to do it. And if you're not the best, then you can't do it. And it's the same in this space as it is in Twitch. Like you don't have to be the best gamer in the world, and you don't have to be the best beauty person in the world. You don't have to be like, oh, I'm a, you know, professional makeup artist to the stars. Right. Like you can just be someone who enjoys makeup. And I feel like the attack that people push on you for not being the best is unnecessary. Like one of my least favorite comments that I hear from various creators and other subscribers is when they say things like, oh, I only listen to the beauty people who don't get PR. And I was like, baby, do you know how many people are trying to get on a PR list and lying to your face to get there?
I don't understand that perspective. Like, especially because, so this is the same thing that happened with Pat McGrath when, and I'm sure there are a bunch of Reddit threads on this.
I don't know. I don't go look.
Neither do I. It's just too, yeah. When, so, you know, someone called me out that I cannot be trusted now that I get Pat McGrath PR.
I heard about that. I was fucking hot. Continue.
And I'm like, I didn't respond because I didn't want to get into that mess. It was very messy. So I just let it go, and shout out to those who came through and defended me. However, the same is like, so you buy all this product from your favorite brand. Give Alicia PR. She deserves it. She deserves it. Give her the PR. No, she has PR. Don't trust her. And it's like, where do I go? Can you please lead me to the right exit? Because I don't know what. Hey, Angela.
Hi, Angela. Okay.
You know, so
I will do so.
That's it. Okay. Get on it. Get on it, friend. So it is frustrating, and it seems like this is the age where those who want to get into beauty is almost like a dark age, because after everyone feels they can't trust their favorite booty guru because they didn't disclose their sponsorships, they didn't disclose this, they didn't disclose that. Now we're all getting it. It's like, just because y'all are burned doesn't mean everyone you encounter is going to do the same thing. It's going to be that dishonest.
Exactly. I mean, okay. I think what starts pissing me off, and what pissed me off about that situation, is how much Pat McGrath you purchased long before you were on the PR list. This is where I started to just like, because I remember, I think you were talking about it on the live stream. I was hot because I'm just like, how in the hell are y'all going to sit here and have attitude and say you can no longer trust somebody because they got on a PR list? This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard, because you literally trusted them yesterday before you knew they got PR. And then the second that they got PR, now you're like, I can't trust you anymore. You got it for free. And I'm like, what?
It's a quick turnaround.
I'm like, I don't understand what you're saying. Because here's the thing. I know, like, and people consistently, like I was talking to Sharita from Sharita Explains All, people consistently forget that Sephora and Ulta had to start changing their return policy because of the amount of makeup that beauty YouTubers were buying and returning. They were trying it for their channel and returning it. For what? Oh, hopes to get on a PR list. So they're out there buying all this like Laura Mercier and NARS and all this stuff, spending $400 and then going and returning all $400 after they made their video. Get out of here with that, because they did as much as they could to get free makeup. So they could be lying to you to get said free makeup. They could literally be sitting there in your face being like, I bought this with my own money, but it's the greatest product I've ever had in my entire life. And then as soon as they're on that PR list, they're still saying the same thing. They're like, it's so great. I love it. But it's like, you never knew from the jump that they were doing this on purpose, because this is an expensive hobby and YouTube is expensive. Whether you are in what, it doesn't matter what platform you are on. If you have anything that has cost at all, really, it's going to be expensive. If you review electronics, if you review video games, if you review makeup, all of it is expensive. And the reality of the situation is that PR does help. It helps you to be able to supplement the shit. Like, people want to see things. So you're like, cool, since I'm on this PR list and I know I'm going to get this thing from them, I can now spend this money over here and here instead of trying to like choose between three. I already know I've got one, and then I can buy the other two and we're good.
And you have the power to work with the brands that you love. I received an email from a brand that I will not say. It rhymes with Miley Cosmetics. Remained unnamed.
Subtle.
Have not responded to them, but I will politely decline.
Same.
And just, you know, I do not, and I know there are people out there that will see that and be like, "Ooh, that's a popular brand. Let me get," and that's fine. Listen, if you like that, that's fine. But I don't vibe with that brand. Yes. I don't vibe with that person, with that family. So I would say far away from that. It's not worth anything.
Cause like,
not that, I don't know. We actual singer Miley has
no, not that. No. Miley doesn't have.
No,
it rhymes with.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, because I think what kills me is like, there are people who will literally sit there and be like, oh, I only trust the beauty people who don't get PR. Speaking of which, here's my Home Chef sponsorship. And you're like, wait, what the fuck?
Excuse me?
Like, I'm so confused. Wait, you just slam people for getting PR and you have a whole sponsorship in your video? I am now confused. I am confusion.
It's like that. So wait.
Not the glasses.
Just hold on. Where does it say? Oh, my Zelda Nintendo. I got this off eBay, by the way. It's just nostalgic for me.
You should have it. Yeah, I just find that very interesting. I just sit there like, yes, you have to pull out the glasses and be like, excuse me, let me look at the this is the math ain't mathing.
No. There are no symbols. There are just nothing.
Like I feel like we need to start pulling everybody out of the dark ages of the undisclosed sponsorships. Because here's the thing. People are going to do it anyway. And you're going to have to start learning to figure out who is and who is not doing it. That's why, like, my recent video, I even talked about that. I was like, I don't like to just say that I'm honest because you either believe me or you don't. I can't make you believe me. And there are creators that I watch where I know that they're lying. I don't care. I like their content. I don't go there for their actual, like, for their true reviews of things. I go because I know that they're funny or they make me laugh or whatever it is. That's why I go. I don't go there for them to be honest with me. And that's fine. I'm not going to, blow anybody's spot up. Do you? But I look at people and I go, you do understand this is expensive, because they'll get mad about ads. They get mad if you have sponsorships. They get mad if you have PR. And you're like, okay, my lighting setup isn't cheap. The camera is not cheap. The editing software isn't cheap. Paying for Canva every year, that's not cheap for my thumbnails. Like, the makeup that I buy for, not cheap. And like, I didn't even go into the actual buying of the makeup. I was just talking about the stuff to set this up. Like, subscriptions to StreamYard, not cheap. Like, all of this shit, mics, the varying mics you have to get. I'm getting close to like, okay, I need to get another lens, a new lens. And I'm going to need to lean on some of my friends who know shit about cameras to help me with the lens that I'm looking for. And I know it's going to be like $200. And like, that is one of the things where the Patreon comes into play, because I'm able to like be like, oh my gosh, thank you all so much because y'all are here. Although I've been lacking in my Patreon because I've been stuck in like a weird depression cycle for like the last 3 months. But I'm hoping that'll end by the end of this month. But it's like, it's interesting how people just don't even think about just the equipment costs alone. So like, every time someone asks me, like in DMs or whatever, I've had people ask me like, oh, I want to start a channel. What camera do you recommend? And I'm like, I don't. Do it on your phone. And they're like, what? And I'm like, if you don't like doing this, if you start doing it and realize it's not for you, you don't want to have spent thousands of dollars on equipment to start a channel you don't like.
Right. Absolutely. And it's funny. The same people who don't want you to get PR or get sponsorships are the same people who are going to criticize your setup. Yes. Oh, your mic needs to be better. Oh, your background is shit. Oh, you got to do this. Oh, you got to do that. Oh, I'm just going to find this stuff for free.
Yes.
You have likes to send me? I just want to know. Do you have a Sony camera just lying around to send me? That's fine.
Thank you. I'm like, do you have the latest Canon mirrorless camera that they just popped out? Do you have that to send to me? Because if you don't, I'm going to need you to
unless you got some in the mail.
Do you have 4 hours to sit around looking through Archer clips so that you can put them into your video? Because if you have that 4 hours and you can find the ones for me, okay. Like, all of this, like, I just don't get why people don't understand that. And it's never me being like, oh, like, meh. It's just me because obviously I know all the creators that I know and I talk to and I hang out with and I respect, like yourself, like a lot of the people in this chat. I know how much you love your subscribers, and it sucks because you talk about this and you're sitting there being like, it's not you who I know support me and love me. It's the people who show up randomly and have something to say. And you're just like, I'm going to need you to leave. I'm going to need you to leave.
Not offering anything valuable to my space. Okay? Yeah.
Yeah. Like, please leave me alone. Like, because I'm like, listen, I'm trying to do these things. Like, Emily and I have been, we're getting everything together for our podcast, which we've been slacking on. the world's been a little, but
okay.
One of the things that I did is I invested in, because I got 2 different mics. So now I have like three or 4, 5 mics. I don't know. But I invested in another mic specifically, for doing the live streams and for the podcast, because this mic is crisper. It's not super crisp, but it's more crisp than the webcam mic, which tends to like spike really high, and it sounds like I'm like, ugh. So, and I'm loud, so I can't be loud with a mic that's constantly spiking, because it's hard to listen back to somebody who, like, when I laugh, I have a very high pitched laugh, and it's hard to listen back when it's kind of crackling. So, this, but it's all of this stuff that you don't realize that you're investing in. And I think I had to start realizing that my patrons are super kind, generous people. And I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry I didn't do this thing. And they're like, just here to support you. And I'm like, but you're paying for things, then I have to give you things. Like, I'm like, you're paying for things, I have to give you things. I'm working to give you the things. Y'all are very kind and very
it's coming.
I'm giving you the things. Like, so far, the best thing I've been able to do lately is like early access. I'm trying to get back to my streams though, but there hasn't been a lot of horror films out, so that's been a thing.
Well, I just randomly watched The Shining like a few weeks ago.
Old school Shining or new school Shining?
There's a new school Shining?
Yeah.
The original.
Oh, with Jack.
Yes, the original.
Okay.
Because I just appreciate, I could watch that and not The Conjuring at night. It hits.
You can't watch The Conjuring.
Anytime they start with based on a true story, I'm like, forget it.
Okay. Have you watched The Collector?
No. Should I?
You have to watch The Collector, The Collection, and coming out, or it may, I don't know, because 2020. The Collector and The Collection.
The Collector.
Have you watched You're Next?
No.
Okay, You're Next is why I love this song called Looking for the Magic. It's like this old, 70s song. And it is because of that movie that I love that song. Because I was like, what is this song? See, look, Sai's telling it. The Collector is so good.
I got to get on it.
It is such a good movie. And
Chrissy, I do, Chrissy friend, I do like horror movies. It's like an adrenaline rush for me, but I know the consequences in terms of my crazy imagination, but I love being scared.
See, here's the thing. What you do is you have to have a peace movie after.
Yes.
You watch because it depends on the horror film. It depends on the horror film on what I watch. I used to watch the Care Bears after I watched a horror film, but then I realized that the Care Bears is actually quite scary. And so I had to stop doing that because listen, y'all can laugh. Care Bears, the original Care Bears movie. What happened? A boy named Nicholas. What did he do? He turned the whole circus in the town into angry people because he was lonely with an evil spirit book whose face popped up out of the middle of the book and said things like, a lesson for the children, a lesson for the town, a lesson for everyone. And when he tried to close the book, her face would push out. He was trying to, no. So number one, Care Bears The Next Generation. What happens?
That sounds pretty sinister.
He's got, thank you. It's scary. It is scary. The little boy who's trying to be a part of the camp, he's all red, got red hair, red tracksuit. He's wearing a red tracksuit. He turned into a frog. He is hateful. They have to, at the end they help him. But after you just watch something scary, that's gay. Night, Alexis. But after you just watch something horrible and horrifying, I would recommend My Little Pony, April, and the original Rainbow Bright movie, way back in the day.
Oh, I love that movie.
You saw the original movie?
I have the VHS. Not anymore, but I used to.
I had it on VHS.
sometimes I mean, watch it over and over again. I would pretend that I was Rainbow Bright riding on her rainbow road.
Yes. Because my favorite part was when they were singing their song and then they come into the room and they're like, morning, rainbow bright. Feel the morning light. There's work to do. Like, they were like, listen, I remember all the songs from my childhood movies. I don't want to hear it, y'all. Like, don't come for me.
Let me be in this space right now.
I know, like, let me listen. I know the all the opening songs to all the Care Bear movies. I don't care. So I know all of them. Care Bears in Wonderland. Know that one too. Listen, that one's really good. I did like that one.
I do, Nick.
Ooh, The Lodge. Alex, I did not like The Lodge. But y'all can watch it.
What is that about?
The Lodge is the poor man's Hereditary.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's. I watched that. I think did I do a video on that? Somebody tell me. I think I did a video on it. It is the poor man's Hereditary. It is so bad. The thing is, because there's the tells are so strong, and you're just like, I felt very quickly while I was watching it that I was like, it's this, it's this, it's this, it's this, it's this, it's that. No.
The end.
But did you watch Midsummer?
I did. And is it considered to be horror? It's more psychological for me.
Yes.
Than anything.
They consider psychological films, psychological terror as horror because like that's the only way they can give those movies awards. But yes.
I see. Okay. I do watch Midsommar. First of all, the cinematography is beautiful.
Gorgeous.
Beautiful. And I think what I realize now is I was always at the edge of my seat watching it because you knew something was off the entire time.
Yes.
But you just couldn't put your finger on it. It's like, everything's so beautiful. They're on this, whatever. But you knew, it's like, this isn't right. This is weird. Why is everyone like wearing this? It felt very cultish from the get.
Yes.
Because of that, like that scene, and I won't ruin it in case you want to see it. There was a particular scene where it went left real quick.
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
Does it involve cliffs?
Yes, and very visceral sounding.
Yes. Was not prepared. Prepared. I was like,
it's like, oh, this is what's happening. Okay.
So you have to, that's what you have to watch a couple of times too, because initially you take it as like female empowerment, like at first a little bit, and then you watch it again and you're like, oh no, it's a cult.
Yeah.
But, like it has a bunch of different layers. There's also like the creepiness of white supremacy is also in that movie as well. So that movie is, I think, like people who didn't watch Hereditary, and here's the thing about horror that always trips me out about people is some people, I love all horror, all of it. I'm like, yes, like even like really shitty, like B, C porn, where like it's like porn, like bad, like bleh. Like it's at the point where they're just like naked all the time for no reason, and you're like, I don't know, but it's like funny,
right?
So, but I feel like there are people who can't watch horror films that force you to pay attention. They just want to see everybody get stabbed and, slice and dice. And yeah, their sound. So the sound, whoever does sound for Ari Aster's movies, is immaculate. Immaculate.
Agreed.
Because there are some people who there are movies where I'm like, this would have been good had the sound guy not fucked it up. Because there's nothing worse than watching a horror or an action film where you can't hear anything until you turn it way the hell up. And then when something happens, it blows you into the next person's apartment. Right.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's I think a vital component to just like that experience, just like in Hereditary.
Yes.
That movie was kind of crazy. Like I couldn't even
I was not prepared.
I
I
was
wasn't prepared.
no. And of course, not to be TMI, I was at my boyfriend's house. We're about to go to bed. I couldn't get into it because I'm just like, I could just, I just waiting for Toni Collette to just go from the corner, you know, just like, or just floating on the ceiling.
You know what? Don't feel bad because honestly, after I watched Us, I swear to you, every corner of my house, I just kept feeling like, I kept seeing like the eyes, like, we just want to, and I was like,
yeah, hey, yeah, the creepy like, just
it was just like, you have been living, and I was like, no, see,
no.
don't be doing that, no. You know, for people don't know, but the lady, the person in the Queen's Gambit, the star of the witch.
Really?
Yes.
I still have to watch The Witch.
I did not enjoy The Witch. That's one I didn't enjoy. I feel like for me, it was the pacing wasn't there for me.
Okay.
But I also have ADHD, so you kind of have. I'm sorry, Sharon. Like I'm so sorry.
You're so talented, Audra.
I know. Like I apologize. I'm kind of
Too
a good.
Too good.
I'm a little bit of a good parrot, so I apologize. But I don't think people. I feel like horror it just gets such a bad rap because everybody just thinks about like people will talk about Saw and say that it's torture porn, but very few people remember the original Saw was not very gory at all. They just remember all the sequels, and I'm like, no, the original was not very gory. And I'm like, that's how that went. And I feel like people miss a lot of the messages in horror. Like George Romero was often talking about society through zombies, and zombie films are still used to this day to talk about society. Like, look at Night of the Living Dead and how a black man survives to the end only to get shot. Like, y'all, come on. Then in Dawn of the Dead, where do they all congregate to? All the zombies congregate to where? The mall, at a time when people were being quite mindless and mindless consumerism.
There's a lot of layers that are presented, and I think that's why for me horror is so compelling to watch. Because there's a message.
Yeah, and it's very interesting because I've said this to people before, and I said this to Emily because we talk all the time about whatever and everything, and I was like, the thing about Get Out is that people missed that it was about the white liberal.
Yeah,
and they completely missed that, and we're like, no, like they're not racist. Did you know? Did you see? Like they're not racist. They want to. Okay, never mind. Like, and there are people who didn't feel like that was scary, and you're like, well, because you're not black, like it's not scary. Because Antebellum, which people missed the point. I feel like people saw like because yes, there is a lot of like black pain in it, and I don't want to give it all away, but people really missed what was being done in that film, and that it's only a fear of black people. Like that movie is really, it's only a fear of black people. If y'all have not seen that, we're going to discuss Antebellum on the Patreon. Damn. Yes. We're going to talk about it.
Oh, amazing.
Because I'm like, I need to talk about it because that, thank you. You get it.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. They're like, no, I really just like one. Antebellum is really, really frightening. I feel like people people took one aspect of the movie and didn't take it as the whole and didn't understand like why the like these things were happening. You have to watch it to get it, because if I say certain things, it'll like ruin the movie for you. But it does look one way, and then it just flips on its head, and it's frightening as shit. After I watched that movie, I couldn't sleep or like walk in my neighborhood for like a little while because I was afraid I was going to get snatched up. So it was frightening.
Can't lie, when I walk around my neighborhood sometimes, I'm like, what if a car just rolled up and took me? Like,
yeah, I have confidence that both you and I, within 15 minutes, they would just push us back out of the car. They'd be like, hey, Debbie, you're like, where are we going? Is there going to be food? We're really
happening.
Excuse me. I don't know if you know this about me, but I'm lactose intolerant. So like, if you don't want me to have diarrhea, don't feed me milk.
No, don't do it.
And then they're just like, get out of the car.
Right.
Like,
Forget it.
Ooh, is Spiral out? Christy, wait, is Spiral out? Because if it's out, I'm going to like get it now. I'm going to go watch it because they kept moving it. Wait, is it Spiral? Like, wait, is it Saw Spiral or Spiral? Like, I'm so confused. I get confused. I get confused because I feel like there were two movies like that had Spiral. One of them Saw Spiral. And I actually liked Jigsaw. A lot of people did not like the Jigsaw movie, but I watched it as if the other movies didn't have, like, as if it was like a separate movie. Well, I liked it until the end. That's what I'll say. Until they tried to connect it to the other Saw movies, I was like, boo. But up until that point, it was kind of good. It's on Shudder. Christy.
Is Shudder like a horror streaming service?
Yes.
Oh, like Crunchyroll
Shudder because I love your shit. Like, I'm like, sponsor me, Shudder. No, okay. So I have Shudder, and I love Shudder. It has some of my favorite, like, there's comedy. What Dead Detectives is one of my favorite, like, new horror comedies. I enjoy that. Ruin Me is very dramatic but fun. I enjoy that movie to the highest. It's just it seems like it's hokey, and then it just like it still kind of draws you in. It's actually really fun. What else do I like on there? I like a lot of stuff on Shudder. I've had Shudder for a while. It is one of my favorites because my favorite, to this day, if it's still on there, I'm going to go watch it. But if it's not, I'm going to be sad. But there was this movie called like Die Young, Party Hard, Die Young, something like that. It's in German. Don't watch the dub version. Please don't. Just watch it with the subtitles. So good.
Okay. Well,
so good.
Do you have like a top must-see list that you make?
You know what? I need to start doing it. Like, I need to start making a must-see horror list, and I also need to start making a Spotify list of like what I'm listening to this week, so people can just like jam with me. Like,
yeah, do it, because like, I'm totally lost. I'm lost with a horror. You know, I just go to the popular stuff. Mm-hmm. But I would love to know your recommendation.
Yeah, see, I watch this like side, like, because when I found You're Next, I was just like, why isn't this movie more popular? It's amazing. It's amazing. And like, I just, Ready or Not is really, really fun and really good and also funny. And it doesn't hurt that like Adam Brody's in it. Y'all listen. I don't want to hear it. I don't know why I find Adam Brody so attractive. I think that my type is sarcastic. If you look really sarcastic, then I'm into you. I'm like, oh,
yeah, we're doing good. We're doing good.
Like, you look super sarcastic. All right, yeah. Listen, I'm gonna start doing this. See, okay. Taya, I love you. You have been like on fire this evening. Adam Brody is hot. He's hot. Especially like Chris McQuantica. Like that was, listen. So anyways, Yeah, I don't like a lot of horror comedy. Ready or Not is good. Dead Detectives is fun. Adrian Brody has the nose that I'm not. Adrian Brody has a ride nose, a nose that you ride. That okay, done. He does, Adrian. That's his nose.
Oh.
So here's the deal. I think, what is it? Monday I have so Wednesday, patrons and channel members, I do want to tell you, we're going to go ahead and talk about Antebellum. We're going to talk about it. So watch it and we're going to talk about it. I'm going to set it up. I'll send you all the stuff. If y'all are not subscribed to Alicia's channel, please make sure you do so, because one of the kindest souls out there, honest and funny, interesting, gives good reviews and amazing looks. And I don't understand why your skin always looks like good and then my skin's like being angry and bumpy right now. I'm like,
oh, friend, I will listen. I have this gnarly some or whatever that if I just left it alone, that if I just left it alone, it would have just had ride its course, written grammar. Hello. It wouldn't have been like it is now. That's all I'm saying. And it's just whatever. But the masked knee, I think, is it doesn't help.
Yeah. I've kind of figured out how, like, in some ways how to handle some of the masked knee, but again, I'm unemployed, so I don't have to wear it for the period of time that other people do. Hopefully I'll find a job soon.
You will. It's on its way right now as we speak.
Yes, Liz, of course you can not watch it and come talk about it. Like, it's fine. No, I think it's because so there's a whole movement, before I let Alicia escape to the rest of your Friday. There's a whole movement that I don't know how many of y'all have TikTok, but there's a movement of, are they attractive or are they just white? And it is not intended to hurt anyone's feelings. The question of the day is really just like, is this man attractive actually, or is he just a white man? Because we have been allowing like this mediocre standard of beauty for men, and then you're like, oh, he isn't, he's just white.
Oh, so I
see. Are they attractive or are they just white? Like, listen, and don't let the black girls start talking about Christopher Jamal Evans, because Christopher Jamal Dontavius Evans. Don't let them start talking about him, because they'll not even include him. They won't even include him in white. Like, that's how bad. They're like, no, this is Christopher Jamal Dontavius Evans. Because have you ever seen the videos of him like on the black girls?
No.
There are threads dedicated to Chris Evans just being like,
oh,
like losing his mind. He's like, brown skin. Like, it looks like he's just like, I cannot. Chris. Yes.
Chris Evans, I feel, is like in the Henry Cavill category of handsomeness.
I did not realize that Henry Cavill was attractive.
You know what it is, and I've said this before. My type of guy, like 300 Sparta. I can't help it. That's just the, what I go for. That aura. Henry brings that for me.
I generally like gingers. I like red hair. Red hair is a good thing. It one of the strongest alliances throughout time have been black women and gingers. I just made that up. Black women and gingers. It's a thing. Like,
so do you love actor from Pillars of the Earth?
Pillars of the Earth.
Redmayne. What is his name?
All I hear is Ed Sheeran.
Eddie Redmayne. I thought he was ginger at one point.
Let me go see. See, thank you. Ginger's got like a weird.
This guy.
I don't think he's attractive. I think that he might just be white.
Okay.
Gotcha. It's up to interpretation. I need to know, but like, so here's the thing. I like, any person that I'm dating, I like them to have a thickness because I don't want to be forced to work out. And I feel that when people are a little bit thicker, we don't mind walking, but they're not going to make me run.
Understood.
I don't want to run.
I don't like running either.
Feffy, y'all are going to be real upset or clapping for me when Ed Sheeran comes a-calling. When he comes a-calling, he's like,
hey.
And he's like, hello, I heard you've been talking about me. And like, Ed Sheeran.
I cannot with like that hypothetical little combo. I heard you talking about me.
Yes, Eric Stoltz. Yes, Eric Stoltz gives me like a little jolt.
Let me see. Oh my gosh.
Thank you, Jenny. You should only have to run with Chase. Running equals a slight incontinence. Okay. I need an intervention on Ed Sheeran. I don't. Listen. I'm just telling you, when we are doing the remix of Shape of You together, it's gonna be on. Y'all ain't gonna know what to do. You're gonna be like, oh my goddess. Did y'all see?
The world gonna shake.
Listen, I need somebody to start the rumors that Ed Sheeran is dating me. Somebody has to shake it.
These Ed Sheeran submissions right now is just
y'all are mean. They're like, not hot. Listen,
girl, no.
Listen. First of all, he has a round face that I find pleasing. His facial hair is not too thick and a little bit scraggly, but also like it's there, you know. He looks confused to be most places, and I also am confused to be most places. And I like that he looks it. Like every time there's a photo of Ed Sheeran somewhere, he's like, I don't know, Jane here. And I am like that. So we could stand together, both looking like we don't know where Jane here. See?
Good question, Audra. Is Ed Sheeran's appeal more in the aesthetics you just outlined, or his talent, or both?
Both.
Okay.
Is it not problematic that he is singing about caramel thighs, though? I mean, not if he's like getting up in them caramel thighs.
Goodbye.
Bye. I'm done. My friend, I'm done. I cannot deal with you. Goodbye. I'm so finished. Oh my God. I have not. It's been a while since I have like been laughing and just, you know, having a time like this. I want to thank you for that.
If the thighs are caramel, then it's okay.
Thank you.
It's okay. Well, listen, I guess we will never know what he's really hitting.
We won't.
For real.
We won't say.
I mean, are those lyrics there to, because I get it, like he's using that line to make the song more attractive, and that's another conversation on its own, but is he really saying that because he liked that?
I did not make that facial movement, and on that note, Alicia, thank you so much for hanging out. I appreciate you. And all of y'all, remember, subscribe, like, follow. Make sure that you are on Alicia's channel and you're there and you're hanging out and you're having a good time.
Well,
Fine.
listen, friend, if you ever want to do this again, I'm just a DM away.
I know. Thank you so much for coming. I have like there are people who can't, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got to start grabbing my people because I'm trying to do it like twice a month because I was doing like every other week or whatever, and then I was like, this is really stressful doing so many lives, so I just started being like, okay, I'm gonna do 2. So I'm really excited. I'm excited for next week's guest as well. You guys will have to see, but most importantly, let us just like do this out. Do this out for Alicia. Thank you so much. I hope you all have a wonderful night. And until next time, you all know it costs $0 to be kind. And it's so good for your soul. So you may as well do it because otherwise I'm coming for yours. Until next time, XOXO. Got the girl.
Bye.